Let me take you back in time. Anybody willing to time travel with me here? Good times? Let me take you back in centuries, couple of centuries back, to India. Now imagine it's a beautiful spring day in Delhi. You walk in the park with your friends. You can feel the breeze. You can see the beautiful flowers blossomed. You can feel the dew in the grass as you walk with your bare feet. Beautiful, right? And suddenly, something whistles past your feet. You look what it was, and standing right in front of you is a big black cobra. A cobra with its hoodie flexed, eyes staring right back at you and making the hissing sound. How scary that is. I see some nods. What would you do to get out of this situation? Anything, right? Well, cobras were actually a problem in British-ruled India, in Delhi. And this stone-cold poisonous reptile gave all the Britishers the same chill that you are experiencing right now in your chairs. They did not know what to do. They were frightened, terrified. So they came up with an idea to get rid of the cobras. They thought, let's incentivize it. Anybody, any local who kills a cobra will get a reward for that. Now that sounds like a great idea, right? If you kill cobras, you'll get rewarded, and number of cobras go down, right? It worked in the short term. But then, a problem showed up. Some locals saw this as an opportunity and started breeding more and more cobras. And now, there were more cobras, because the more the cobras, the more you kill, the more money you make, right? Great idea. It took the British administration some time to realize this. And when they realized this, they abolished the system, the reward system. As a result, now, there are more cobras than ever before. The problem is bigger than ever before. And the British administration has already spent a lot of money on it. This phenomenon was actually called by a German economist, and he called it the Cobra effect. It is the phenomenon when people jump to solutions without having proper understanding of the problem they are trying to solve. They think the best way to solve a problem is, let's pump money, let's incentivize it. But thank God, this is centuries back. This kind of problems do not happen today. At least in modern corporate world, right? It doesn't happen. Or does it happen? We have a problem with engagement in the team. Let's go for an offsite. We lack innovation in the team. Let's hire an external consultant. Our projects are getting delayed. Let's move to a new way of working. We lack creativity. Well, let's give an Apple Watch to the person who comes up with a great idea. We lack diversity and inclusion. Let's hire one brown guy and now we are super international. This phenomenon is going on. But what happens with this? You see, when organizations are endlessly pumping money and looking for solutions without having the true understanding of the problem, you see this curve where they have spent the money and they are still not meeting any expectation. The cobra is actually aggressive, as you can see in the curve, standing, ready to bite. In the last years, I have started a podcast channel where I interviewed a lot of people from various walks of life and asked them how did they handle adversity and how did they handle change. And one of the things that stood out for me there was, especially when I interviewed people from different walks of life, like athletes, actors, singers, that their way of handling change was great. And the corporate ways are quite outdated. Because the corporate still likes to stay in their ivory tower and make decisions without having the true understanding of what their people are thinking. The most striking thing was all these creative people went through existential crisis, especially during the pandemic, where their income, livelihood were changed. But that did not deter them. They found root causes. They were able to reinvent themselves and bounce back. These are some learnings that today's corporate world, organization, human resource needs to learn. and accept if they want to have true change and true transformation in their organization. A leader once told me that a competitor can copy everything from its competitor within 6 months. Products, services, leaders. But the one thing they cannot copy is the culture. For that, you need true intent, time, and good leadership. The question is, then why do people resist change? You see, the people who work in your organization are actually the soldiers. Not everybody of them are strategy makers, but if they are the one who bring every new idea into action, and if you do not take them with you in your ideas, no ideas will ever see the light of the day. So if they are that important, why do they resist change? Well, you see, resistance to change is actually not a disease. It's actually a symptom. It's a symptom of something bigger going on with their people. But what do organizations do when they see resistance to change? They start the carrot and the stick. We already saw what happens when you take out the carrot. And I can tell you, the stick also doesn't work. You see, incentivizing people for resistance to change is like giving paracetamol to somebody who is down with fever without understanding the true cause of the fever. Have you ever been to a doctor who does that? Yes, we all have been to such doctors. In my research, I found out the true cause of resistance, and that can be grouped into 4 categories: afraid, bored, complacent, and docile. These are actually the true cobras in your organization that stop people from accepting change and why people resist change. Afraid. This is a group that are afraid that any change will have a negative impact on their career and their jobs. They think they are not skilled, and they do not support these change. The bored. Now, these people have seen so many changes in an organization that they do not have the belief that another change will bring any effect. You know, when I was interviewing them, one of the most amazing term I heard there, a lot is happening, but nothing is changing. The C, the complacent group. Now, they can be called the Sheldon Coopers of the organization, who are smart, who are talented, but they love their comfort zone. They do not want to get out of the comfort zone. As a result, they will do whatever it takes to prevent change. And the last is docile. These are the group who like the story, who are inspired. But unless tangible next steps are told to them, they have no idea what to do next thing tomorrow morning. But don't worry, for each of these cobras, we do have antidote. For the afraid, give them curiosity. For the bored, give them responsibility. For the complacent, give them urgency. And for the docile, give them clarity. I hope you remember this because I'm going to ask you at the end. Now, this sounds easy, right? So let me tell you a little story. Last year, I was in conversation with a big media company in the Netherlands. Now, they went through a reorganization where they actually had to let go of big number of stuff. As a result, they were not able to perform well. All the projects, all the initiatives were delayed. Nobody was talking about innovation. The mood in the organization was very, very morbid. The leaders tried everything. They tried to pay some bonuses. They tried to hire a stand-up comedian to, make people chuckle, but nothing worked. So when I was talking to them, I asked the leader, so do you know why are people resisting? And I got an amazing answer. Well, I think maybe people are scared, but I don't know, maybe that's the reason. In a sentence with I don't know, maybe, I think, I don't know, it's clear that they don't know what is the root cause of the resistance. So instead of suggesting what to do, I proposed to do something different. I took a page from an athlete that I interviewed. What do they do when they face this situation, when they feel demoralized and they do not know what they are going through? They try something called the top sportsman mentality. Now, what is a top sportsman mentality? I encourage the team to have 4 things in the organization to create an environment where people can dream big. First thing, ambition. Give them the ambition to be the best at what they're doing. Even if they are project managers, or even if they are just doing accounting, give them the ambition to become the best at what they are doing. Second thing is positive realism. What do I mean by that? Now, in sports, you must have seen, if you want to learn something, let's say you want to learn handstand, the first time you're going to try that, you're going to fall, right? The second time, you'll fall again. Maybe the 10th time, you'll still fall. But the 11th time, you'll stand up. In my case, I will probably need 100 times. But with positive realism, you know when you're falling, but you're making progress to actually stand up. Or it's not working out and you need to cut losses. But to have that positive realism, you need the third thing. Coaching. All athletes, all actors have one thing in common. They have a coach, somebody they can trust, somebody who is there with them to thick and thin. A manager is not a coach. A coach is somebody else. Now, what do organizations do wrong here is they ask their top performers or the shining stars to be the coach. Most of the time, these are content expert people who lack the most essential quality to be a coach, which is people skills. Close enough. People skills. You get into the room and they're talking about content instead of asking them, how are you feeling? So have a coaching session where different people who are not performing well or doing average job, also coaching others to encourage that people skill and open dialogue. And the last thing is the productive pain. You know what that feeling is? When you reach home after a tired day and you know you have a gym appointment at 8 in the evening, but you do not want to go to the gym. You feel like, you know what, let me just Netflix and chill. When you still push yourself, wear the gym outfit and go to the gym, that's productive pain. It is a painful process to take yourself there. But when you do that, you know you're going to achieve happiness and success. Give them that productive pain. Push them little out of the comfort zone. Well, I knew one trick that pushes everybody out of that comfort zone through productive pain. Encourage them to do public speaking. So I invited the leaders to come on stage and walk and share their discomfort, where they are stuck, why they are feeling the way they are feeling. The walk from their chair to the podium was definitely productive pain for each and every one of them. But you know what was surprising? It opened doors for open conversations. The thing that made me proud is they even came up with a concept of having something like a Stuck Tuesday, where every Tuesday morning, 2 or 3 members are going to talk about where they are stuck in their work. Is it their own reluctance or resistance, or somebody else is resisting, or they're waiting for someone else to deliver something? When this was done, this open dialogue was encouraged. You know what the management found out? The root cause of the resistance. They thought the people are actually afraid because of the reorganizations. Turned out, they were bored. They have seen so many reorganizations in the company, they thought this is yet another window dressing that will not have any results. And 6 months from now, we'll have another reorganization and another reorganization. Now we found out the root cause. What was the antidote of bored? Responsibility. Thank you. So we discussed to give responsibility to those board group. And how do you do that? Make them drivers of the change. Inspire them to make the policies, how the company should look in 6 months, and what are the new steps the company should take. Make them the drivers of the change. When they became the drivers of the change in that organization, you see the line went on a different tangent. This Cobra line is actually better. This is a tamed Cobra. Its head is down. It does not look aggressive. And this is when you have that tamed Cobra in your organization, you will have an environment where there is innovation, where there is creativity, and people have an open environment. Dear friends, if I was in British ruled India, I would advise the Britishers to actually ask a few questions. Why are there so many Cobras in Delhi? Why aren't the locals afraid of the Cobras? Could it be that the Cobras are more afraid of us than we are afraid of them? And if we avoid certain areas, we can actually avoid confrontation with this creature. You see, in few questions, I turned your fear into curiosity. I myself have been in jobs where I found myself struggling, and I did not know how to get out of it. And every time I resisted this, I thought, what am I doing wrong? Till I met a coach who told me, if I get the right environment, I too can bounce back and be a top performer. So dear friends, dear leaders, dear students, when you see such a cobra in your organization, don't take out the stick or the carrot. First, try to understand what is the root cause of the resistance. A Chinese proverb says, when the winds of change are blowing, some build walls and some build windmill. What are you building in your organization? Are you creating a positive environment, or you're doing the carrot and the stick? And if you want to have organizational excellence, now is the time. Let's join hands and ideas and build it together. Thank you.